I noticed you were watching The Grinch when I came in today.
Yeah, Grinch. Yeah, terrible movie.
You know,
with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a fan.
No, can't stand that movie.
Why are we watching it?
Because family and the kids and yeah, you get forced.
Yeah. What's I guess other than the basics, what do you hate about the Jim Carrey Grinch movie?
It's Jim Carrey.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. I see people. Jim Carrey.
You know what? The original Grinch, 30 minutes, tight story.
Yeah. Good cartoon.
Great from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That's the Grinch.
Yeah.
This whole thing where he's talking to himself and walking around and overacting. Overacting.
Would you rather watch The Grinch or would you rather watch Big Bang Theory?
Oh, God.
Welcome to Radical Apathy, the podcast where two half-wits set out to solve all the world's problems with pop culture references and a lackadaisical attitude. Why not? It's worked so far.
And welcome to Radical Apathy. My name is Tanner.
I'm Corbyn.
And that is Corbyn,
That's
as
me.
he just said. Hi, Corbyn.
Hi.
How you doing?
I've had a day.
Yeah, sounds like you had a day. You had an emotional sport
I
event.
put a lot of emotion into my sports team today, and it didn't pay off.
Do you feel that when you put that energy out there,
Yeah.
and it goes out into the ether, do you think that somehow that energy is manifested into something that the sports team can use?
No, I actually think that when I pour myself into something, it's going to, like, the equal and opposite thing is going to happen.
So it's actually bad for your team that you're getting this committed.
Like, if I'm want something to happen, the opposite will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop you from getting that committed, though.
No, I'm so committed. I'm such a passionate sports fan. It's silly. It's so silly.
Well, but I mean, it means a lot to you.
Yeah.
I don't get it because it's running around on a ice rink or grass field, but sure.
Have you ever, like, you've never thrown a controller before for a video game or anything? No. Never?
Never.
Not even dropped it aggressively?
I've probably walked away from like my computer being like,
fuck this,
I'm done for the day, but
Yeah.
I've never damaged my...
Okay, I didn't
my
damage
items.
anything today.
Okay.
Just my confidence. But other than that, it was a long emotional day.
Long emotional day.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get right into it today.
Okay.
You left me off yesterday
Yeah.
just wanting more Corbyn.
Okay.
You ever have that?
Yeah, I want myself all the time.
You just you know what I could do? You know what I have more of? Just more Corbyn in my life.
More me.
So I'm excited to be here. You left me off with a homework.
Yes.
What was
assignment.
the homework?
It was to watch the movie The Suicide Squad, the original one.
The David Ayer.
The David Ayer. David
Ayer.
Suicide Squad from, like, what, 2016 or something?
Ooh, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple.
27. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched it.
Yeah.
It was my first time watching it. I had watched the not quite
second one,
remake,
The
but
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad, with the Peacemaker man.
Do you want me
And a
to rant
starfish.
about this movie first? Like, do you want me to give you my thoughts, and then you can piggyback?
What do you want to do? This was your homework to me. So what are you wanting in regards for your homework
I want
today?
to tell you why I hate this movie
Okay,
so
you
much.
start, and then I'll just pepper in with what I saw because you obviously.
Okay.
Why? Hey, tell me why you care.
Okay. Yeah. Why do I care about this?
I don't know why you care because it's a movie. It doesn't matter.
This movie is just so offensive to me. That's maybe
Okay.
why it's offensive.
Okay, tell me. Go walk.
Okay.
Go. Yeah.
Start the movie. Okay. It's doing an open and it starts introducing its characters. Blah blah blah. And it gets to fan favorite Harley Quinn, which, fun fact, is not even. Harley Quinn was never even created by DC Comics. It was created.
Okay.
It was created by one of the guys who worked on Batman the Animated Series, and they made her for that show.
Right,
And
I didn't know
she
that was her
caught
first
on,
one.
and then
Yes.
they just brought her into the comics like it was there.
Yeah.
Theirs. Anyway, so Margot Robbie's sitting there, and she's hanging upside down, and the guard comes up and talks to her, and then she has a flashback. And then immediately after the flashback, there's a scene where she just runs her face into the bars and knocks herself out. They don't explain it. They don't say why it happens. It just happens.
Just because she's crazy. How else would you show someone to be crazy if not to run into a wall?
You know what? It was
There's no other way.
That's my first beef with it because they didn't even explain it, and then after it happened, they just switched. Like, they didn't even address it. Like
a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks.
A lot of flashbacks in
Yeah,
this movie.
they try to pack a lot of story for a thing that's so terrible in this story. Okay, second thing I didn't like about this movie, number 2, the Joker. Okay, just the Joker himself. He was a gangster
Yeah.
He wasn't the Joker. He was a gangster who, like, there was this one scene when he was in a club and he's sitting there with his cane and he's got his posture all nice and like Jared Leto's trying to make him interesting, but it was just, I just didn't like the presentation of the Joker. I didn't like the teeth. I didn't like the tattoos.
Yeah.
Everything about him.
Hashtag not your Joker.
Not your papa's Joker. Okay, so Jared Leto, number 2. Number 3, there was a scene early in the movie where they were like, man, we got to get Batman in this movie. And so they get Batman chasing Harley Quinn and the Joker. And what would be the greatest thing to put in that movie, do you think, if you're involving Batman?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
No, you would want some interaction between the Joker and
now.
Batman.
Why would they have?
Why would they do that?
They barely talk as it is in pop culture. So,
right?
Okay.
I know. And so they didn't have any interaction whatsoever.
No.
Like, why have the Joker in this movie at all anyway? He doesn't even make sense.
Well, he's really not in it that much.
He's not in it, but what he's in it for doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And as I get going here, a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. Okay, next thing. They're like, Amanda Waller, which is Viola Davis, she's like, okay, we got to put together the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And these are all
Task
the
Force
worst
X.
people. Task Force X.
Yeah.
And these are all the worst people. We don't want to send our people to go do this. We want to send people that are expendable to go do this.
Yeah.
So they send them on a mission, and what's the first thing they do? They send a bunch of soldiers with them, like a group of, like...
Yeah, let's send our men with them.
They said, we want our people to do it. We want the expendable people to do it, but we're going to send our people with you anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
So that obviously doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. They spend half the movie on this first mission. And the mission is to go extract somebody from the middle of the city because something's going down.
Yeah. There's a big light in the sky. Yeah.
They get there, and it's Amanda Waller. Okay? And so she goes, oh, what took you so long? And then she orders a helicopter on her own. Why did they have to be there in the first place? It doesn't make any sense. The whole mission made no sense. They didn't need to be there.
Yeah, it was like her planning for her own pre-birthday party.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go see this great party. It's going to be great. And they show up like, oh, it's my party. Welcome. I'm glad you came. Okay, I'm leaving.
Here, I sent all you people here and all these people to die, but I didn't need you anyway.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to take this helicopter. You guys take care of yourselves. Then I got to say something about the villain of the movie, which is the Enchantress. Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about a movie, any movie, the heroes and the villains have to make sense for each other. Mm-hmm. They have to make sense with each other. There has to be some sort of connection. There has to be some sort of through line that makes these characters come across. This villain did not fit the movie whatsoever.
I see.
It doesn't fit the... And because this villain's like this, and she's mystical and magical and whatever the case may be, I just don't know where the thought is where they're like, we need to send this Harley Quinn girl who has no powers whatsoever.
Yeah.
And she can't really...
A traumatized psychologist.
She's just
to
a
go in there.
traumatized psychologist. We're going to send her to go save the day. And we trust this.
Yeah.
So, again, didn't fit.
Nope.
Okay? Here's what really bothered me. There's a
lot
scene at the
to
end
bother you.
where they're trying to get rid of the villain. And so they get together this bomb. And they get the bomb and they give it to Killer Croc to throw it at because
the crocodiles are known for their throwing arm.
They have a guy on the team whose only reason he's there is because he can throw stuff. Mm-hmm. And they don't let him throw the final
Well, you have a guy
thing.
who can throw. That's his thing. Another guy who's a dead-eye shot target who hits anything with a target.
Yeah.
But so anyway, but you do a giant crocodile.
Let's give the guy who's got the throwing arm... my God.
Crocodiles. Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a myriad of things I have a problem with this movie.
So I'm getting a lot of narrative problems out of you.
Things that make no sense. Absolutely.
Are you a fan of DC, like the comics and the lore of it?
Listen, I am a DC guy.
Okay.
I'm a DC guy through and through. Marvel is secondary to me.
Sure. Okay.
But I will fully admit the Marvel movies are 1,000 times better than DC movies.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Like, maybe with the exception of some Batman movies. This DC extended universe was a shit show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So So David Ayer. Ayer. Training Day.
Yeah.
End of Watch.
He's made good movies.
He's made great movies.
Yeah.
And like gritty, compelling movies. The one thing I really noticed after watching this movie is it was butchered in the editing room.
Yeah.
Like this movie was, there are scenes that don't fit with what was going on, and you're right, the whole second to third act becomes kind of this one homogenous nonsense cityscape. You know,
this is after the ridiculous mission.
Yeah, there's no narrative pull through of it, and yeah, you can tell. I mean, you can almost perfectly see like the post shoots that they had to do, and to fill in, and I guess I looked into it a little bit, and I guess when David made this movie, he made it with the intent that it was going to be very gritty and dark and realistic, kind of in how the vein of like when Nolan did The Dark Knight.
Okay.
Right? Like it was going to be more realistic bad guys.
Yeah.
Which is what his intent. But then, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool's out, and they say, well, no, it's got to be funny now.
Yeah.
So you can just feel this. All of a sudden, there's just constant quippy. Like there was that one scene when Amanda Waller, and I'm a big Viola Davis fan.
Yeah, me too.
She kills all the people in the room.
Yeah.
She just, oh, okay, yeah, you don't get to know, and just starts blasting people with his gun.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been, it starts immediately leaning into this dark. She just walks around and starts blowing people away. And then, like, right after that, quip. A jokey quip.
Yeah.
Oh, go, because they got to lighten it. And it just, these little jokey quips. So every one of them on the Suicide Squad's comedian now, from Rick Flag to, the only one that doesn't was the Japanese sword lady, because she didn't talk.
Will Smith was so Will Smith in this movie.
And Will Smith, he was just Fresh Prince in it. Every shot he took.
Every second.
It's
awful.
You can tell Margot Robbie's having fun with the character, and I didn't mind her rendition of Harley Quinn.
Really, she gains a conscience at the end.
Well, but then I mean, when you can tell she's just doing Harley Quinn, she's fine. Like she's got a good voice. She's has the crazy eyes that she puts on when she wants to. But yeah, the story of each character was really dumb. The bad guy was nothing. Like there was absolutely nothing. There was no, and they did the weird thing where there's no character building. They just tell you who these characters are. Like if you didn't know who Batman was, right, and we're gonna watch a Batman movie, and in the first 10 minutes, like, oh, everyone, this is Batman. His parents were murdered, and he's a billionaire. That's all you need to know. And then they just go on. Like that's all they did for all these characters. Yeah, maybe except Rick Flag, but even that was terrible. But they just tell you, like there's no growth to any characters. Like so narratively, it was really really bad. Yeah. The editing was just like they just butchered this movie. Jared Leto might as well not have even been in it, because I mean the Joker's in it, and I agree. I necessarily didn't like how he did it, but I mean he was in it so little. There was no point of him even being there.
They made the greatest, like, egregious error at the beginning of the movie when they're introducing Joker and Harley as a thing. Viola Davis says, she's crazier than the Joker. No, she's not. Yeah. No, she's not.
But then
nobody is.
But they don't do anything to show how crazy the Joker is. That whole premise relies on you as the viewer already knowing who the Joker is, already knowing things the Joker has done, even though this is the first time we've ever seen this Joker in this universe.
And hopefully the last.
So, like, it's just, it's just weird. It's like, oh, she's crazier than the Joker. It's like, yeah, but you didn't... Yeah, all you show me is this guy who wears a jacket and has a bunch of tattoos. Like, you haven't shown me anything to say why she would be crazier. Like, it's just these... The whole thing was just this nonsense.
It was just so bad.
Like, it was not a well-made movie. And I think a lot of it must have gotten lost on the cutting room floor. Had to have been.
Even if you add stuff back in, I can only think it was going to be shit.
Yeah. I mean, I was okay with the Suicide Squad they recently did with the Starfish.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It was all right.
It
was an okay movie.
But yeah, this one was just...
This one had a through line with Peacemaker and Rick Flag. Yeah. And I forget Idris Elba's character. His name, but that was way better.
But it had a little bit of character points, because Idris Elba's character had a daughter that they kind of lead into, Peacemaker and his father, and they built on characters there and then they had Harley and Rick Flag have that whole thing. So they had character development in that movie, where this one, literally zero. I'm not a big Jai Courtney fan. I didn't mind him in this one.
Yeah.
The little bit he was in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like
What's the best role that Jai Courtney's ever had? This is easy. This is easy. You should get this in a heartbeat. This is easy.
What's the one where he has he was in Gladiator, right? No, sorry. The TV show with the gladiators. Spartacus.
Very good.
That one.
That's very good. That's the right answer.
Yes.
That's the right answer. He was Varso?
You're just making up names now.
It started with a V.
VAR.
VAR.
Yeah, I did enjoy it, Corbin. I'll never think of it again. Like I'll leave here today and it'll never bother me again because
who fucking cares?
And I like DC more than Marvel myself as well. I agree. I like Batman, but I mean this was such a useless movie that did nothing, that provided nothing, that's now gone forever.
This year, what is it? 3 DC movies are coming out. So the Shazam movie, which was awful.
Okay.
Fury of the Gods.
Yeah.
The Flash, which had the worst CGI maybe ever.
Heard it was bad.
The movie was decent. It was decent. And then this Aquaman movie, like I don't care. Why do I care?
It's the thing.
Why do I care about Aquaman
Especially
Part 2?
because you already know the whole DC thing is getting revamped anyway. Mm-hmm. So why would anyone care what these movies?
Why would I care?
Right? They're going to be all changed anyway.
Yeah.
Super dumb.
And James Gunn is bringing a bunch of stuff again that I don't care about.
Right.
We're going to start with Creature Commandos. And I'm like, Creature fucking Commandos? Yeah. Like, I know my DC, and I know jack and shit about the Creature Commandos.
Yeah. People want... They're Batmans.
And don't reset Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was actually kind of good. Well, Wonder Woman 1 was.
Yeah, they just want their basics. Mm-hmm. I mean, because you haven't done it yet. You haven't given them the basics. That's good. I would really not mind a Constantine movie.
They're making Constantine Part 2 with Keanu Reeves. That's happening.
Right. So that was kind of its own thing. Like, it was Constantine the character.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, that was the Keanu Reeves version, which... that was okay. But like Constantine in a matter of the DC, like he's the dark Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League Dark.
So he's that blonde British guy with the trench coat. And they had a guy, and I'm not gonna remember his name. I should look it up. He did a live action on the TV show, like DC Warner Brothers TV shows.
Yeah, that guy, Matt something or other.
Yeah. I actually really liked him as
he was really
Constantine.
good. Yeah,
I give him
because
a movie.
He had the TV show Constantine, then it got canceled.
Yeah, like
then he rolled over to the Heroes of Tomorrow or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Didn't watch that,
but he was. I really liked him as
and
Constantine.
Then he voiced all the Constantines in the cartoons. Yeah.
Just give him a movie, make it dark because the Constantine, like the comic, dark comics. Mm-hmm. Get into the hells and the angels and let him just have a good movie. Like stop rethinking the wheel.
It's a cool area to explore.
It is, but we'll get the Mallard Commandos or whatever they are.
Creature Commandos.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. Or not,
it's 2 hours. I'm not going to get back my life.
I know. I wanted you to suffer like I did.
Oh, don't worry. I brought homework for you.
And I rewatched it, too. Like, I'm like, oh, God, I hate this movie so much.
Yeah, it was... I do enjoy that we're getting our venting out about a movie that came out 6 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
But so really hammering home the fun audience topic. However, it was... I'll never think about it again.
Yeah.
That was it.
Let's not think about it anymore. Why do we care?
But I appreciate that. Last episode, we were together.
Last episode.
Which was our first. In case you're coming in this one, you're now in the second episode. And the last was the first one. So if you haven't watched that one, please go ahead and watch that one. You, Corbin, threw a lot of questions my way.
Yeah, I did.
In hopes of learning more about me, maybe trying to pull secrets. Pull the secrets out of me. How well do you think you did?
I think I did pretty good. I asked you some fun stuff.
Yeah,
I think I did.
Okay. Do you feel like you know me better?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like deep down, like if you look me in the soul?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see your soul right now.
Okay. I tried to do the same, and today we're going to dig into your soul.
Oh, I don't have one.
I know. Past the frozen over tear ducts and the robot face, we're gonna dig in.
Oh.
But before, and this is kind of just, I guess, for going forward, that's kind of our hope is the next few episodes. Now we're going to have some guests joining us, and we are then going to turn our attention and our almost journalistic integrity questions towards our guests when they come.
Yeah.
And kind of picking their brains, finding out the things they like, they don't like. Maybe they've seen the Justice League.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, wait, what was the one? Suicide Squad. See, I literally already forgot about it. I forgot about it, and it was 18 seconds. We're going to go into that. We're going to keep things like our top 5. So I'm going to start with the top 5.
You got a top 5?
And then we're going to get into you.
All right.
But unlike you, I followed the rules, and I kept it to a top 5.
Well, I had a tough time.
This is going to stay in line. So you brought your top 7.
I brought my top 7 Mission Impossible
of your favorite
movies.
Mission Impossible movies. Keeping it in that vein, I brought my top 5 favorite video games. I think this is going to tell you more than any of the questions we asked before, because now everyone's going to get deep into my soul.
Top 5 favorite video games.
Top 5 favorite video games of Tanner.
Of Tanner.
Yeah.
All right.
There's not best of all time, but
I believe there's right and wrong answers for this. So I mean, it's just you have to say.
This is where I come from. My top 5.
Yeah.
So top. We're going to start with 5. Number 5.
Yeah.
GoldenEye for the N64.
People love that game.
I mean, yeah.
People love that game.
It's a great game. Yeah.
It's crazy how cause I think it was the very first 3D, I think maybe Mario 64, but real 3D action game.
Yeah, like the first true 64-bit first-person shooter game.
Yeah. People love that game.
Yeah,
I've never played it.
You've never played GoldenEye?
I never had an N64 though.
Oh wow, you're weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. The obviously I was younger, lucky enough to have an N64, and that was one of the first ones we had. GoldenEye. I mean, this was a movie tie-in game, obviously, to GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan, who's arguably the best James Bond there's ever been.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go through that, and then, but it did a very good job of following the story, but also level design and adding in difficulties and different objectives and difficulties.
So I don't pretend. Okay, don't pretend. Tell me. I don't know what the layout of the game was. Like what was the flow like?
So it basically follows the plot of the movie.
Okay.
And the first level is the dam.
Yeah.
Which he does the little bungee jump off in the beginning of the movie, that little cutscene, but they actually turn into a level.
Yeah.
Where it's your first infiltration into the dam and how he got to the point where he bungee jumps off.
Yeah.
You have your little gun, you walk through, you're blasting Russians away, and you kind of make your way, but there's you're opening gates and you're blowing up boxes, and there's adding difficulty to the level, like choosing a higher level difficulty. They throw in stuff like, okay, well, you got to go into the dam and down the stairs and blow up the servers. They added more objectives the harder it is.
Right? Yeah. It'd also be a 2-hour game.
But which not a lot of people did back then. It was just, they would use a harder difficulty. It would just be harder bad guys. They would have a bigger health pool and you'd have less ammo.
Yeah.
But, how they did this, they said, well, let's add in these 2 objectives or this objective. And if you fail it, you might still pass the level, but you're not going to get the end. And then they started to tie in things like the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Where if you want to unlock Jaws as a multiplayer character, you have to do this level, this difficulty. It was kind of the beginning of that part into game where they kind of forced you to really sink your teeth into that game, which was, I mean, maybe not the first, but one of the first, definitely the most biggest audience that really started to do that.
Yeah.
And that was Rare. And Rare had just a magnificent production on N64.
I'm gonna look up how many copies that sold. How many?
Let's pull the Golden N64. But it's the other big thing with 64 was its multiplayer. And this was four player split screen multiplayer. And I mean, in today's standards, it's pretty basic. You have your death matches, your team death match, but sometimes they would throw in flavors.
8 million units.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yeah,
that's big for a video game.
That's huge especially for the Nintendo games.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was the N64. You could have 4 players instead of 2, like the NES, the Super NES, and that
was it split screen?
Yeah, you just have your 4 little corners on the TV. So you pick your corner and hope no one was looking at where you were. Mm-hmm. And you could they gave you enough options to change the layout of the type of the game. You want to do fists only, or golden gun mode, or
I bet you like fists.
Paintball. Oh, I've fisted so many of my friends in the bedrooms. Just whoosh, whoosh.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. But just a great game. A lot of nostalgia to it.
Yep.
They re-released it for the Xbox, PlayStation. You can just download it again and play it. It definitely shows its age now.
For sure.
When you go back, there's definitely some nostalgia glasses on it. I mean, especially when you start comparing it to like Call of Duty and those kind of games now. But for back then, just a great game.
Okay,
and
I dig it.
They basically run you way through the whole movie, and huge multiplayer suite, which lasted for years.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're set.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 4 now.
Number 4 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, God.
I know, you're going to wait for that
Jesus. All right, go ahead. This game is horrible.
Yeah. Look up how many copies Red Dead Redemption 2
I'm going to check. I'm going to look up all of them.
We'll see how horrible it is.
Hey, listen, I bought one. Doesn't mean it's awesome.
So, Red Dead is Rockstar's cowboy game, going back and forth between Grand Theft Auto and the cowboy game.
Okay, well, that's a lot.
How many?
57 million copies.
57 million copies.
57 million suckers. Well, 56,999.
And I mean, I like, I as I said, I grew up on the farm before we had to move off of it, and had farm families, and I was lucky enough to kind of get the rights. But I mean, I like the cowboy stuff. But man, Rockstar can make a game like for open world, like I mean, just storytelling, open worlds, be the kind of cowboy you want, do what you want, go where you want.
You didn't think these controls were janky, though? Like, they were so janky.
Yeah, well, you get... it's.
I was so frustrated with the controls. I'm like, this sucks. I got to get rid of this game. I traded it in like 2 days later.
Yeah, it's something you got to get used to. Like,
waited in line for this fucking game.
Yeah, it's something you have to get used to. I mean, it's just... once you get used to the...
I suppose.
I wouldn't say floatiness of Rockstar game controls, but because they have to allow you to walk and run and ride a horse and be on a cart and be on a train and ride a boat.
The horse was good.
Because they have to do all this extra. I mean, like, you know, they have to make it all work. So
I got as far as the train robbery,
okay.
I think. Maybe a little bit farther than that.
Yeah. And great story. Great. Some of the best voice acting still of any game.
How often did you shave in this game?
I kept my Arthur tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was shaved, short hair.
Okay.
Until you don't care, and then you have him put on all the hair tonic and grow it out to like 11 and just be a giant hobo cowboy.
Oh.
But it's stuff like that. It's just interacting in the world, seeing the world develop, right? Like as you play the game and people are building small houses with wood out in the woods, and as you play through the games 40, 60 hours later, the house is finished and there's a farm.
Yeah.
And it just piecemeals out. Definitely. I mean, I had a hard time putting it at 4 because I really because it's really, really, really well made, and we get so few games nowadays that are made with that kind of quality, and that aren't just money grabs and always online and blah 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 crap that the gaming industry is nowadays.
Speaking of money grab, just a side note because you made me think of it. Did you see anything from the Game Awards last night?
I did.
So did you see the comment that the God of War actor made?
Yeah,
that was good. Yeah, so for those who didn't see it, the God of War actor won an award or something, and then he says, "My speech is." He's presenting. He's like, and he was basically saying that his speech was longer than the campaign in the new God of War Call of Duty game.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is true. The new Call of Duty game has gotten demolished.
I heard it was terrible.
Not good.
And my son made me buy it for him.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
And that's old Teal from Stargate SG-1. Is who that actor is.
Yeah, that is.
Right? But yeah, he does Ragnarok, and his speech last year was like 8.5 minutes long.
He's not the original Kratos, though.
No, not from Gods of War.
The original Kratos is kind of my jam.
Okay, no, I like.
He's the guy from Star Trek, isn't he? No, he's not Star Trek.
No, I don't think I remember his name, but
I don't remember his name. But I recognize him. But I liked him. He had a viciousness to him that I did.
Yeah, no, he was good.
Yeah,
I mean, those games were good for a reason.
Yeah. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh God. Okay. Jesus Christ! This is the worst list ever.
Hey,
let me tell you why this game sucked.
Okay, tell me why this game sucked. Well, you didn't have a Nintendo, you said.
Because there was... listen, the Ocarina of Time's on many, many consoles.
Okay.
Now, listen. Yeah. There are... A game where you have to speak to a specific guy in a specific place to progress the story whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like a soft lock game.
Okay.
And then there's the part where... You'd age your character or whatever from a kid to an adult, and then people are like, "Well, did you age him too soon because you did this and this?" And you're like, "Fuck, I did that already," and then it ruined the game.
But this is back when video games were they didn't hold your hand. They didn't give a shit if you did that because they're just like, no, this is the game, and if you just need to figure out how to play it. And the sequel to it, Majora's Mask, was even worse than that on that 3-day time loop. It was way scarier. But again, a lot of nostalgia bait on that one. Going for where it is, but I tried to think of this list as the amount of times I've ran through a game start to finish.
Yeah.
And that one's it's got to be high. But again, it's just one of those. It started leaning into that open world, right? And Zelda games have always had that forefront of, we're not going to make an open world. We're going to make a sandbox for you to play in.
Yeah.
But we're going to throw this twist in. And they did it with Breath of the Wild. They did it with Tears of the Kingdom. And they're both amazing games because they keep pushing it. And Zelda games do that very well. But yeah, leading in the story, great. Young Link going into it. This is going to have a lot. I don't know. Red Dead would probably have more sold, but
I don't know because there's so many different kinds of
Time's gonna have
platforms.
Yeah, it's going to have a lot to it. I liked the music. Like I liked the flavor of the music they throw into it.
This doesn't seem right.
What does it say?
It says only 7 million. That doesn't seem right.
I don't know when that. I don't know if that counts as post-digital sales. Probably not.
I don't know,
but
that seems weird.
But that's my number 3. Really enjoyed it.
Is there any good games on this list?
Probably not. If you your reaction off the last 3, I'm going to imagine that the top 2 isn't that high. Number 2 is Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
You know, I tried playing that game and I just couldn't make it work for me.
Yeah, that's the original Knights of the Old Republic PC.
Like an RPG, right?
Yeah, the BioWare RPG. Back when BioWare was good at making games.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan of the number 1 movie.
Absolutely.
We talked about it yesterday, but man, RPG again. You want to talk about a story that today is still trying not to. Obviously, it's one of my top favorites, but it's still one of the best stories of a game made. Star Wars or not.
Where? Give me so Old Republic. So that's going to be like.
It's about 3,000 years before the original series movies.
Okay.
Height to the Republic and everything's fine. And then the Sith Empire, which is its own galactic, basically body. This time instead of just a couple Sithy boys.
Yeah.
The whole galactic empire starts this invasion, and then it's this 2 galactic powers. But it's all that's taking on the background, and then you have your character, who is you make them. Like you make your character, you can choose their background because it's still an RPG, right? You can have them be a scoundrel with a blaster, or they can be a sword person fighter, or have their skill sets.
Yeah.
But they have amnesia because, of course, it's an RPG.
Everyone has amnesia.
It just makes it easy, right? Here's your crisp blank slate that we don't have to write too much about because they have amnesia. And you take that a link, but all of a sudden, and that's a lot of RPGs have done that, like go through half the Final Fantasy series, but you get about halfway, and spoilers for a 23-year-old game, you get about halfway, and then, okay, now you can be a Jedi, right? And now you can grab a lightsaber. And now do you want to be a lightsaber fighter Jedi, or do you want to be a Force-using Jedi? And you have your little party of companions who are all fully voiced, who all will change opinions of you as you play the game because decisions you make will change the narrative, which is one of the first ones to really push that, so that everyone can kind of have that different game. Do you want to be a good Jedi? Do you want to be a bad Jedi? How do you want to carry that on as you go? Your companions start to turn good or bad depending on how you turn. So if you go bad, a lot of times your companions start to go from, let's help these puppies in the orphanage, like burn the fucking puppies, right? They kind of they roll in that way. And by the end, that in itself is great. By the end, the narrative twist comes and hits you. And it's still just a really, really, really well made story twist into the game that drops at the end. And you go, oh, shit. And even you as the player are like, oh, fuck. Oh wow, okay. Mm-hmm. And then you get the decision if you want to carry on with what happened before. You're amnesiac or not, or change.
Right.
Story-wise, it's great. RPG, turn-based combat, which is still really well done for the different combat scenarios you're going to get into. You can have different party some can be shooters, and you have team composition as you go. Lots of side quests. Gorgeous for what it was made. Just really, really strong still to this day, probably one of the best narrative stories in video games made.
That's pretty cool.
So that's my number 2.
Highly. Knights. I didn't look at that one.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, I got to look that one up now.
There is now. I mean, it spawned a sequel, which was very rushed and not quite as good, but not a bad game. It spawned an MMO out of it, which is still ongoing now.
Okay, ready? Knights of the Republic.
Knights of the Republic.
1.3 million copies.
It'll be more than that.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
Google's never wrong.
Google is never wrong.
I don't think so.
Well, I probably bought 500,000 of those ones. So
all right, number 1. You're going to say Baldur's Gate?
I am.
Yeah.
I don't know if I appreciate that chuckle.
Is there recency bias for this?
I really tried to consider that. So I'm talking about Baldur's Gate 3 that came out a few months ago. It just won the Game of the Year award last night at those ridiculous Game Awards. Mm-hmm. I really tried to think about it, but recency bias is one thing. If I pick up a new game and I really enjoy it, I'll probably put 100 to 150 hours into it, maybe 3 weeks, and then move on to something else. And then my ADD kicks in and I want to do something else.
Yeah.
So this game came out in early September. We are now in mid-December, and I have played that game nonstop.
How many hours now?
Still playing it now. Played on Steam. Hard to tell exactly because my wife plays it as well. She just finished her first run. I've done a couple. I think I've probably put somewhere close to 350 hours into it.
You beat the game already?
3 times. Yeah.
3 times?
Yeah.
Is there replayability then?
Yeah,
obviously
very much so. And it checks off all the things I like. Narrative story, very smooth, gorgeous, well acted. It's D&D, which I enjoy, and great combat, great layout, and just it was written so well by a company that does these types of game very well. That it's one of the best interconnected narrative versions. Like decisions and things you are making in Act 1 of the game might not come to fruition until Act 3, 60 hours later. Mm-hmm. That may or may not come to bite you. But from how you and I would play it, just completely separate, different games by the end when it's done.
So this is an RPG.
It is an RPG.
Okay, and so skill trees, you've got your party, you're leveling up, getting more spells / hit points / attack power / okay.
Yeah, it is very well adapted to what the D&D 5th edition rule set is.
Is it so it's not a messy RPG? Because you know what I mean, like there's messy RPGs.
No, it's very tight.
So confusing on how to do anything,
and it's very tight because 5th edition is very tight rule set for D&D is where it is now. Like you have your class can do these things, and every few levels they might get an additional thing that makes that class better.
Okay.
On top of your weapon attacks and armors and things you can do, and then magical items can make things better. But
so you played like a different class each time, then? Yeah,
and you can let's say you want to be a warlock and this one goes to 12th level, and in D&D in total 20th is the highest level you can really play at, and most D&D campaigns go from like 1 to like 11.
Okay,
because that's kind of the sweet spot. So this game goes from 1 to 12. You can choose, I'm going to be a warlock from level 1 to 12, and I'm going to get all the things a warlock does. Or I'm going to do 5 levels of warlock and then 7 levels of a sorcerer.
Yeah.
Because there'll be synergy. You can mix classes. Or I'm going to take 1 level in every 12 class for my 12 levels and just be something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it lets you do it. You can build, you can respec, you can play however you want. So it's the best adaptation of 5e rule set.
Let's see how many copies of Baldur's Gate was sold. If my phone would work, how do you think? What do you think? What do you think the ballpark is? It's a very popular game.
Yeah, I'm going to say north of 50.
50 million?
Yeah.
22 million copies.
Okay.
22 million.
Yeah.
That's a big game.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drop some knowledge on you really quickly.
Hit me with it. Why do you care?
Glaringly absent from your list.
Yes.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, it's so good.
Like to this day, it's
so good.
Excellent.
So good.
I just actually watched a documentary about it the other day, about just that game, and how it was literally the most hyped game almost in Nintendo's entire history.
Well, because it was Super Mario 2 was just kind of a rip-off of a different game at the time, right?
Doki Doki something.
It wasn't actually that game.
Yeah, they put. So what happened was they put a different skin on that one. The real Super Mario Brothers 2 wasn't that at all, because it was only released in Japan, and it was basically looked exactly like Super Mario Brothers 1, but it was apparently just insanely hard and no one liked it. And so the American Nintendo said, "We don't want that game. Give us something else." And they just
don't make us do that.
They just reskinned the other thing, which I like Super Mario Brothers 2.
I did too. I remember playing that. I didn't mind it.
But Super Mario Brothers 3, so the Nintendo was actually a dying console. It was at the very end of its life. Genesis was already on the board. Mm-hmm. A couple other things were on the board to start to push it out, and then Japan got Super Mario Bros. 3 in 1988, late 88. Didn't get to North America till February 1990, 2 years later. And it was when you take that movie The Wizard.
Yep.
And Nintendo Power was dropping hints about it.
Yep.
And there was no internet back then. So, I mean, everything was just hearsay about this Super Mario Brothers 3 game. And when it came out, there was a chip shortage, so they couldn't make them fast enough. And it was literally the most hyped game, and it actually extended the console's life through 1995. They stopped making them in 1995, NESs. It's crazy.
Yeah. But it just shows you what. I mean, consoles don't make money, right? It's the software that makes
Nintendo consoles
pushes
make money.
It, right?
They don't cut the price on those ones.
But they don't. But they're pushed because of the game, right?
Yeah. But Nintendo's always made money on their consoles, whereas Sony and Xbox they're loss leaders,
they
right?
Make nothing. Yeah.
Really quickly, I'm not going to expand on these. Pokemon Yellow. I'm going to say the original Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, great.
Resident Evil 2.
Great. Yeah. Resi 4 was a really hard fight for me on this one.
Yeah. The remake is even better.
Yeah.
The remake is even better.
It's great. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah.
And I got to say, I'm kind of partial to Contra.
Well, I mean,
it's just got.
You are old,
and we're getting a new Contra in January.
Well, I mean, we've seen new Contras come and go. They've all been terrible.
But this one looks like it's going to be a good one.
Okay,
like made with like Nintendo's blessing. We're making a Contra. It was on the last Nintendo Direct.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Because it's still side scrolling, the new one, right?
Or the new one's going to be side-scrolling.
It's still going to be side-scrolling, which I like that they keep that going in a lot of their ones, the Metroid changes and that. So, and
actually, the game I just played, recency bias for sure. Other than Pokemon, my first real RPG, Dragon Quest XI-S.
I love Dragon Quest games.
Dragon Quest XI-S was so good.
Yeah, Dragon Quest games are really good.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
And that's my top 5.
That's a good one.
That's my personal top 5.
Personal top 5.
We'll probably find top 5s that don't just have to do with us as we go forward. But we want to give you more. We want to let you know where we're coming from.
Where are we coming from?
A little background,
right?
And why Corbyn hates everything I love.
That's not true. Just Red Dead Redemption and Ocarina of Time.
Oh, they're so good. Corbyn.
Yo,
let's find out about Corbyn.
Yeah, let's do that.
I tried to find questions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you and I have worked pretty closely in the last few months. A lot of sweaty touching, behind curtains.
Yeah. Wow, this sounds interesting.
Yeah, really just like, we can feel the tension between each other, but keeping it that professional.
Absolutely.
Right. So I wanted to see where we can go. But I did want to cross this one off the list because this is when you asked me, and I know this isn't a very creative question. But what is your favorite movie?
Well, it's on the wall over there.
Hold on,
I have a poster. My favorite movie. First off, I have like favorite movies in categories. Like I have like a favorite movie, but my overall favorite movie is Jaws, the original.
Dun.
Far and away.
Yeah. When
you combined all the camera shots and the music and the story and the worst mayor in the history of... Well, actually, you know what? Fun tip. The mayor in Jaws 1 is still the mayor in Jaws 2. It's so important to vote in your local elections, people.
That's true. You have to pay attention.
You have to pay attention to your local elections.
You have to pay attention.
Or else you'll get the same guy.
Please vote.
Please vote,
everybody.
So Jaws, I'm still scared to go in the ocean to this day. It gets me when I see a video of some shark. You see videos online of people. Oh my god, a shark comes to your boat. My heart just drops. Like it sinks. To this day, when I watched, I've seen this movie well over 200 times. I am still scared of it. It still gets me.
So walk me through first viewing. Like, where were you? How old were you? What was happening?
Geez, yeah, no. The very first viewing was a partial viewing because I watched a little bit and I was I was just like sucked in.
Yeah.
And then I was terrified and I ran away.
And you were 40 at this time?
No. I was probably 10, maybe 10 years old. Yeah.
So just old enough to understand that people are dying. Like, old enough to understand that death is involved, but
there's a scene in Jaws and it's the best scene in the movie, in my opinion. It's the shark goes into the smaller pond part of the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's where they send their kids to go play on their boat or whatever, and the shark comes in.
Yeah.
And there's a shot of this guy whose boat gets knocked over, and he's treading water, and he's like, oh. And then you see the shark underneath the water coming sideways at him, and then it just drops out of the light, and he goes down with it. I don't know how they did this shot.
Yeah.
But it's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. And there's this next scene is his leg falls to the ground of the ocean bed. Like, they filmed this in the ocean.
Yeah.
How when you're an actor, how can you film a killer shark movie in an ocean where killer sharks can be? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
how do
I
you
would say
do
it makes
that?
it easier, right? Because you lean into your monkey brain.
Oh.
The monkey brain tells you shouldn't be out here because you can't breathe in this stuff, and there's monsters, right? So,
do you know when you watch a movie, you're like, man, I wish I was in that movie.
Yeah.
I do not wish I was in this movie.
No, that would have been
terrified of.
That would have been a pain in the butt to film. I think too.
And here's the other thing about this. This is a very real fear. Like, we know more now about sharks that they don't really like humans or whatever the case may be. But shark attacks still happen.
And how do they find out that they don't like humans? Like, are they putting, okay, here's a bag of cow, here's a bag of Tim.
Yeah.
And the sharks just keep going for cow. Like, at what point did we decide that they're like, oh, I don't like the taste of you, man? I don't know why they're French, but they're French sharks, and they don't like,
Yeah.
I feel like someone just said that. Or are we just literally feeding dead people to sharks, and then they're like, oh, they don't really like this. Maybe it's just calves they don't like. Maybe they like, I don't know. There's that scene. Or I think they're just saying that to make people feel better about themselves.
Yeah. There's that scene, and the scene where they're investigating the boat at night. Mm-hmm. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Like, he goes in the water and you're yelling at the screen. You're like yelling at the screen. Don't go in the water. Like, you are literally probably, until you find out at the end of the movie that you're not safe in your boat, you are safe in the boat. Yeah. Don't go in the water.
And they scoop that out from under you and say,
God.
oh, by the way, sharks can go in boats now.
It was re-released in theaters 2 years ago. You could watch it in 3D. Or you could watch it on IMAX. They had two versions of it, and I was like at a crossroads because it wasn't in my town. I had to go for about a 2-hour drive to go watch it. And I said to my wife, like, I was torn, like, which version do we want to watch? Like, or do we want to watch both? Like, what do we got to do? Like, I have to go watch this. And so I ended up going with the 3D conversion.
You did, eh?
Yeah, because I figured the other one would just be bigger and louder, and I'm like, I have seen big and loud already.
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah, it was a noticeable 3D conversion. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It's my favorite movie.
Jaws, yeah.
I'm just gonna drop some
drop stuff on me, bud.
I'm gonna drop some honorable mentions. So, like, that's my favorite movie overall. But like, my favorite comedy,
Okay.
and it's like not even close, is Hot Fuzz. It's the greatest comedy ever, in my opinion.
This is very good. Yeah.
Because I think if you watch Hot Fuzz 100 times, you see a new thing each time.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love Hot Fuzz. I love all three of the movies.
I was going to say that's that whole Coronado trilogy. You get a lot of that in them.
Yeah, in all three of them.
Yeah.
I love all three of them, but Hot Fuzz is like the best one.
I would agree. I think Hot Fuzz. I think a lot of people will be upset that we didn't say Shaun of the Dead, but I think Hot Fuzz is the better film.
I think they made Shaun of the Dead and it was excellent, but then they're like, okay, our craft, we can hone this just a little bit better, and then they made Hot Fuzz.
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
There was the scene in the beginning of the movie where they were just switching out. He wants to talk to the supervisor, the superintendent.
Next one,
and they just switch out
the captain.
Oh my
colonel.
God!
Yeah,
just and it's a better actor every time, and then it's like the Mecca. It's Bill Nighy coming in there,
the vampire man himself.
Yeah. My favorite horror movie, obviously, is Jaws. But I mean, if I was just saying horror movie, I mean, oh, geez. I'd say The Descent.
Oh, yeah.
The Descent is a movie about these people who get, again, a very real...
spelunking shit?
Spelunking,
Yeah, no,
and they get
not at
stuck
all.
spelunking.
Yeah, no, thanks.
And it's just, that's terrifying to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I watched
that's
it
scary.
And I watched it in a theater that was, like, big and dark, right?
Yeah,
it was a very big... It was a very big theater.
Yeah.
And I just felt that
You felt claustrophobic.
I felt claustrophobic.
Right.
And then what else was I going to say? Then the latest Dune movie was so good. It's in my top 5 movies of all time. I love that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't when they go down to they get stuck in there, but isn't there like monsters down there in The Descent? They don't like monsters come and eat them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
they get stuck
I won't watch
and then,
it, but it's just things I've seen, yeah.
And then basically it's evolved. It's not evolved. More like they do evolve. They're basically cave dwellers that also got stuck, but this is how they evolved
But they
over
became
years. And they
cannibal
became
cave
these
dwellers.
things. Yeah, exactly. And it was terrifying. So good. But here's the thing with that movie. There's like a really cool underlying story about this main character and her family and loss.
Yeah.
And how she got to that place. And then it pays off as the movie's going on, even when the little monsters are around or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it pays off at the
Because
end.
there's character development.
Yeah. There's
Right?
real
Look at that.
characters.
You develop a character and all of a sudden people like the movie.
Yeah. It's really good.
Makes a difference.
So those are just a couple of off the top of my head.
Okay.
Oh, and Clue, of course.
Well, Clue, yeah. I think we're going to have a whole Clue episode one day for you and I to sit down and go over because we're both big fans of that movie and just the almost perfect comedy timing that it is.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my easy question.
That's a good question.
Let's get into Corbyn, everybody.
Yeah.
If you could only celebrate one holiday for the rest of time, what would it be?
Wow. One holiday? Like it has to be a holiday?
Yeah, one holiday that is currently celebrated by humankind.
Okay, I don't consider my birthday a holiday.
You know what? I wouldn't either.
Okay.
No, I'd say a holiday that people celebrate.
I'm torn.
You get one for the rest of your life.
Here's my thinking. I'm torn. I used to go out drinking every March 17th, and I used to have the best times.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm a big horror buff, so I really like Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
for our audience who doesn't know what March 17th is.
That's St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Hopefully you know that.
Well, I knew that, of course.
Yeah.
It's just people who might not, understand calendars and dates.
Yeah, that's fair. St. Patrick's Day versus Halloween. I think Halloween wins. And it's not because I dress up a lot or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just because I just like the spirit of Halloween. I start on October 1st, and I watch horror movies for a solid
you're a big
month.
horror fan, yeah.
And I just go hard.
So if you had one left to be Halloween.
Yeah, it'd be Halloween.
I think that's the right choice.
I think so, too.
Yeah. I like it.
And there's no family gatherings on Halloween.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it's kind of, you know what I mean?
You don't have to have a turkey dinner on Halloween.
People are giving me free shit, and I get to walk around the neighborhood with my drink.
Yeah.
And as we talked about last week, having your drink in the neighborhood, it's okay.
Doing the walk, it's totally fine. Why would it be a problem?
It's the best. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Halloween.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Describe to me your perfect day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Your perfect day. Your Corbyn's perfect day. Go.
Okay. So I would sleep until 10 a.m.
Good for you.
Okay. I'd skip breakfast. I would go and get a sandwich. Like, it could be just ridiculous what I would do.
This is your perfect day. It's whatever you want to do.
Because I'm going to be jumping all over the place.
This is your day. Whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah. So I would be in Vegas at this point.
Okay.
And I would go and get a sandwich for lunch at my favorite sandwich joint.
Which is called?
The Earl of Sandwich.
Okay.
My favorite sandwich is, it's not a meat sandwich. It's called the caprese, named after the salad. So it's the greatest bread ever.
Okay.
Fresh mozzarella, not like the fresh stuff. Basil leaves, Roma tomatoes, balsamic glaze. Done.
Okay.
It's the greatest combination of foods in the world. I love. Can you eat that stuff?
Sure.
Can you eat tomatoes?
Yeah. No.
Okay. Can you eat basil leaves? That's probably from a tree.
I think I can eat basil. I don't like basil.
Oh, okay. Have you tried it with these other things though?
I haven't had it in that sandwich.
Yeah.
I've gone to the Earl sandwich, but I haven't had the sandwich. The caprese.
So I'd get the caprese sandwich, Earl sandwich. I would then go and I'd probably hang out at a Vegas pool for a couple hours and have some drinks.
Okay.
Then I would go play some poker or craps.
Oh.
Play poker until I win some money, and then I'd go spend it on the craps table.
Are we talking Texas or a 5-card stud? Like what kind of poker?
Just Texas Hold'em.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mostly all you can get down there. It's not mostly all you can get. Like you can get anything.
Yeah.
But the most common thing is just Texas Hold'em.
Yeah.
Then I would go to now I'm like transported to Toronto,
Okay. Yeah.
and I would take in a Blue Jays game.
All right.
And then after the Blue Jays game, we'd go and I'd walk to the local Hooters and get the Hooters wings that I
some
like.
wings. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a perfect day.
That's
for
your perfect day. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'd finish it off by being in Disneyland and going on Splash
Vigorously
Mountain.
masturbating. What?
I'd go on Splash
Splash
Mountain
Mountain,
at
okay.
night.
At nighttime.
At night, well, it'd have to be nighttime
Right.
because I like Disneyland rides at night more than I like them during the day.
Because it's scarier?
No, it just brings out the lights of the park. It's just more magical. So I
Even
go
though
to Splash
they've
Mountain.
changed Splash Mountain, right?
Unfortunately, yes, this last trip I went last year was the last time I got to ride Splash Mountain. But I videotaped the whole thing, so I'm like I got it all
locked in.
Yeah, it was actually unfortunately Disneyland wasn't really upkeeping Splash Mountain. They were letting it. They knew they were turning it over, so they were letting it
stopped
fall.
giving a shit.
Lights weren't working, speakers weren't working, so it wasn't the best experience. But it's still my all-time favorite Disneyland ride.
Going at night would give me that Five Nights at Freddy vibes, where the animatronics come alive and try to eat your face off.
I don't think they do that at Disneyland.
Hopefully not. I mean, you'd think they would take care of it, but
Even the Haunted Mansion, they're pretty good there.
yeah. That's a fun day.
That's my day.
That's a lot of traveling for the day, but I mean,
I'd have to go to a lot of places. And then actually, if after Disneyland, I'd go to a late night pub in New Orleans and have some hurricanes.
like live in a hurricane.
There's drink.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the. They have two official drinks in New Orleans. One's a hurricane, which is like a passion fruit drink.
Do you think that was
like
named because of where they are, or was that always the thing?
It's always a thing. And the other one's a Sazerac, which I don't like as much. It's a whiskey based drink, but it tastes like gasoline.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah, those are the two. So I go for some hurricanes and maybe some char grilled oysters.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because they're really good there.
Full day.
Yeah.
That's a good day. I like
That's
that.
a good day.
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay. I like your perfect day. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Mind reading, 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
That one would scare me more than most.
Mind reading?
I don't care what people think because they're dumb. But it would also scare me because some people you're going to get in there like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's why I would want it. And I completely agree with you. Like, I don't care what people think. But I care what I think. And it would be easier for me to navigate because I'm not going to tell you what I do for a living.
Yeah.
But I'm so censored and I'm such a different version of myself when I'm at work.
Right.
I just don't. I can't. Like, and I don't. First off, I don't blame anyone for their sense of humor. Like, first off, they call it a sense of humor. It's a sense of what you find funny.
Yeah.
And you can't help it. And so I think some really twisted shit is funny.
Yeah.
And you can't say those things at work that you think is twisted and funny.
Right.
And and there's everyone's got a thing going on now where you have to be considerate to everybody, which is fine. But I would just like to be me. I'm not being myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where I just want to have fun with everybody, and I wish everyone was in on the joke.
Right.
So, what was I talking about?
You were talking about you can't make the dead baby jokes at the orphanage where you work.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They don't think it's funny.
They don't.
They don't.
They laugh at the dead parent jokes for some reason. You wouldn't think an orphanage would find that funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is.
Listen, and here's the thing. I don't care how twisted it is. If it's funny, it's funny. And I think you should be able to laugh at the horribleness of this world because it's therapeutic. And and part of this podcast is about coping.
Yeah.
And that's one of my big things is laughter of any kind.
Yeah.
Is coping.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but you watch a movie nowadays, even every comedy or TV show, and they want to make you laugh, and it takes so much to make me laugh now. Like people need to go there to get me to laugh. And it's very rare that they can get
You're desensitized to the common, just like how you're desensitized to regular porn. It's getting more and more to the point now where you're only getting off to people in somewhat ripped acid wash jeans.
Yeah.
Orgasming.
Okay.
But if it's just like regular denim, you can't do it, right? Like, I get it. Like, sometimes, so you have to go one more step further, and it's,
I'll use a different analogy.
Sure.
It's more like two magicians trying to show each other tricks. And you're like, oh, that's great. Well, look at this rabbit coming out of my hat. Okay, that's great too.
Rabbit.
Look at this. Wow, great. Like, you know what I mean? They know they know the trick.
So how will your superpower of mind reading help you here?
Oh, because you would know, like, for instance, just right away, you would know if this person's down with a joke or something.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you use it to know your audience better.
I would use it to know the people better. I would have definitely used it in my dating life, right?
Sure, yeah.
I would definitely use it against my wife.
Wasn't there a movie about that?
Yeah, I was like, what women want?
Right. That's right.
Like
Mel Gibson just crushing it.
He crushed it
With
in that
superhero
movie.
power, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd use it against my wife.
Yeah.
I'd get to know when I'm in trouble, or I would avoid the trouble.
You would know it's coming. She's
You'd know it's coming.
If he comes over here in those fucking acid wash jeans one more time, I'm going to divorce him. And then you'd be like, oh shit, okay, I got to take these off. Right? You would know.
You would know.
Yeah.
I would know my kids way better.
Yeah.
Like just understanding
Which
my
is scary
children.
for fucking children.
Yeah, I would scare the crap out of them. Like when you ask, you haven't had this, but when you ask your kid, well, why'd you do this? And you go, oh, and then I could dive into his head, and no, what is he thinking right now? That's a superpower to me.
Yeah,
and I would take that over, the long life. I'd take that over super strength. I'd take that over flying.
Yeah,
I'd take that over anything.
Yeah.
Although a close second is like long distance teleportation. Go ahead.
Ooh, yeah, teleportation is nice. I like that.
Because I would go to every place all day.
That would make your perfect day way easier.
That'd make my perfect day easier. I would do my perfect day.
Yeah, you could do it. How... this was a little more nebulous.
Okay.
We're going to get into we're going to get a little more open here. How far away are you from becoming a supervillain?
Oh, I am one bad day coming away from a supervillain. In fact, I'm probably already there. Like
one lab accident away. Yeah, just one.
I'm there. Like I'm yelling at traffic in my car. Yeah. I swear under my breath. I talk to myself.
Yeah.
Like I have plans, man.
Okay. Well, yeah. Good. It's good to have plans.
You don't ever think like, man, if I could get away with this, I would totally fucking do this.
Yes, but mostly because I'm so desensitized sexually. It's how can I get what do I need to do to get off now? Is more if I could rob the store, but I mean if the bank teller man isn't crying when I do it, it's not going to work. Right. So that's me.
That's you.
But yeah, one day. Okay, good. It's good to know. And that leads into I'm a firm believer when it comes to fiction of any sort. The story is only as good as its villain.
Okay.
So who is your favorite villain in fiction?
I'll give you a top 5.
Please?
I'll give you another top 5.
Can we do 2 top 5s in the show?
Well, you did one, I'll do one.
Oh, man, we're just throwing all the... Okay, go.
Okay. Best top 5 villains in movies.
Yeah.
We talk about movies or villains everywhere?
Fiction.
Just fiction?
Top 5 in fiction.
In fiction.
Well, yeah.
Darth Vader.
Sure. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Hans Gruber.
Oh, yeah.
The Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Also Hans Gruber.
Yeah. He's
Hans Gruber.
He's in there twice.
He's in the 2, yeah.
I will say who? I'm going to add...
Professor Snape.
I was going to think about that. No, because he's not a villain. He turns out to be a good guy.
Spoilers.
I'm going to say... I can't say the shark in Jaws. That doesn't count.
Bruce.
I was going to go see Bruce. Long story. I was going to go see Bruce. They found a restored version of him. Only because there's 3 copies. Okay. I know lots of Jaws lore. There was 3 copies and of the shark, and somebody at a used auto place bought one and hung it on his thing, and it was up there, and it was rotting in the sun for 35 years.
The American dream, eh?
Okay.
Yeah.
They bought it from him, restored it, And then they now have it hanging in the Academy Awards Museum in Los Angeles.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So, fun fact.
Okay.
2 more villains, we said. Gonna say, oh God, those are some good villains. You know what? Just recency bias. Baron Harkonnen from the latest Dune movie.
Ooh, yeah.
Baron Harkonnen is really, really good. And I'm gonna say, and this is a weird one. Okay. Not the just a fun villain.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. Go.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Eartha Kitt playing a crippled, disgusting old lady,
Yeah.
and she's absolutely hilarious in that movie. The funniest Disney movie of all time.
Yeah. So, I appreciate your top 5. If you had to narrow it down to 1,
Yeah.
who would be your top? Like, who's your greatest villain in fiction?
I got it. Out of those 5, I got to go Sheriff of Nottingham.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you watch that show, he just
he's
chews up every
he's amazing.
second of that show, and it's perfect.
Yeah, he's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah. Big
I
fan
know.
of him.
I know. I got a friend who's gonna listen to this, and it's gonna drive him nuts. He's gonna say the Joker from The Dark Knight. He's gonna say things like Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
And he'll be wrong. It's the Sheriff of Nottingham.
He's the Prince of Thieves.
Prince of Thieves.
Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah.
That torture scene in that movie is still one of my favorite scenes in cinema.
In that movie.
In that movie, yeah.
Okay, I just watched that movie. Which torture scene? What are we talking about?
The one in The Princess Bride.
Oh, The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I thought I said Robin Hood Princess.
Yeah,
Bride.
I was just thinking of a different movie in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I moved on to me.
Okay, that's fair.
Anyway, what is? Oh yeah, here's a question for you. I'm gonna preface this.
Okay.
Preface this.
Yeah. Preface
That's
this.
right. Preface.
Preface this.
Is it preface this or preface this?
Preface this.
I'm going to preface this and say, I don't believe in any of this nonsense.
Okay.
So, but feel free.
Yeah.
I support you in believing whatever nonsense you want. 'Cause
I
I'm gonna make
believe
fun of
a
you for
lot
it.
of stuff.
Have you ever had
Yeah.
a supernatural or extraterrestrial event happen to you?
Okay, the only thing that's ever happened to me,
Okay.
and this is true, I used to work at a gas station a long time ago, and there was a poster of Frankenstein. It was Halloween. There was
Yeah.
a poster of Frankenstein on the door of one of those, sliding coolers.
Yes.
And I was across the room. No one's in the gas station. And the cooler fucking opened by itself and shut.
Okay.
Like it went like that and shut.
Yeah.
And that scared me a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I've had.
So door open and closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Norman Bates is also one of the best villains
Ooh, yeah.
in movies.
Yeah. Psycho was.
Yeah, Psycho.
Yeah.
And actually, I know you don't like horror movies.
I don't.
The criminally underrated Psycho 2 is one of the best, my favorite horror movies.
My wife really enjoyed Psycho.
Tell her
The
to watch
movies
Psycho 2.
and the TV show they did recently. She really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's seen Psycho 2.
Tell her to watch Psycho 2.
Okay.
It's freaking great.
Okay. Because it's the same guy. He gets released from the mental hospital, right? He
Norman
goes back.
Bates. Yeah, he goes back to the house, and then you don't know what's going on. You don't
Right.
know, is he crazy?
Or is something else happening now?
happening?
Yeah.
Is he going back? You don't know what's going on.
I like that.
Yeah.
Moving on. What do you have any? Do you have any guilty pleasures?
Guilty pleasures. Like, what do you mean, like listening to Kelly Clarkson in the car?
Not masturbating to acid wash jeans. Something. Yeah. Like do you have a thing? I mean, it can be. It can be food based, I guess. Or is there
Okay,
is there
I
one
have
thing
a-
that you always are like?
This is embarrassing.
Well, that's the point.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
I do have a guilty pleasure, and it's super embarrassing.
Okay, perfect. Go.
I'm 45 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still a wrestling fan.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Sure.
Like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. It's so. Here's the thing. I take my kids to the live events when they come to Calgary and Edmonton. We have a blast.
Yeah.
I got videos of my kids just cheering and booing the people, and when they have their pay-per-views or whatever, we watch them and we have a fucking great time, me and my kids.
Yeah.
And it's just fun.
It's still a better story than half the Marvel movies that have come out in the last 2 years.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird how you like somebody will show up and there'll be like a excitement about it or something like that. It's weird. It's a weird. I can't describe it. I get it. I get it.
It's a soap opera.
It's a soap opera. I get it. I'm lame.
Yeah.
It's a guilty pleasure. You asked the question.
Yeah, no, I'm glad. Hey, you know what? Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
You know, that's tough to share sometimes. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite wrestleman or woman?
Ever?
Sure.
You know the answer to this.
I do. Yeah.
If you had to guess, who would it be?
I'm going to say, because based on your age, I'm going to say Macho Man.
And the shirt that I own. Remember, I have the purple Macho Man shirt.
Oh God, do you? Maybe that's just sitting in my brain. Yeah. Randy Savage.
Yeah, Randy Savage is my favorite.
Cream rises to the top.
Well, when I first watched, so the very first time, so I have a weird thing where each WrestleMania, that's the grade I was in at the time.
All right.
Okay, so when I was in grade 3, it was
WrestleMania
3.
Okay.
And so that's the first WrestleMania I ever saw. That's the first thing wrestling I ever saw. And so WrestleMania 3, for the uninitiated, I'm going to tell you a story. WrestleMania 3, the main event was Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. And it came at the video store, and it was 2 videotapes.
What, double VHS?
Double VHS. Or double beta for those
for cool people.
It.
Yeah.
And I saw this, and my parents would never let me get it. And my aunt, I go stay at her house, and she'd let me rent whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
And my parents let me. That's weird. My parents let me watch any movie. I saw Die Hard at age 10. Okay. Jaws right around there. Like, remember Flowers in the Attic from last time?
Yeah.
Again, saw that when I was 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Wrestling? No, you're not allowed to watch it. So
that's because they didn't want to watch it.
They didn't want to watch it. They didn't want to spend the money.
They didn't give a shit. They didn't want to watch it.
Because when you go to the movie store, you rent something, and that's it.
That's it.
And then
that's what you get.
They didn't want that. So she let me rent it. And the spectacle of seeing, it was the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, which I think it was 84,000 people were there.
No.
And then the aisle for them to get there, it was so long they had to drive a cart, and they were in a cart, and they would wave or whatever, and on that card was it was Andre versus Hogan, the immovable object versus the irresistible force, and before that it was Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat, which I will say to this day is a top 3 wrestling match of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
Even more than Undertaker's Resurrection or Kane through the cage match?
No, those weren't good.
Oh.
Okay. The one you specifically, the Undertaker Resurrection, no, that was not that good.
Okay, fair enough. Well, hey, you know what? I'm glad you have a guilty pleasure.
Macho Man Savage.
Give me your best Macho
versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Oh yeah, dig it.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yes, 87, 88?
Old time.
Yeah.
If you wrote an autobiography of your life, what would the title be?
Irresistibly Resistible.
Oh, that's good.
Very resistible.
I like that. You're quite resistible. I think mine would be extra mild.
It would be, what's another one? I'd be like, Hard to Want would be another one. Hard to Want.
I like. I think I would try Tanning Hides with Tanners of Yesteryear, a Tanner story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tanning Hides with Tanner. What?
Tanning Hides with Tanners of Yesteryear, a Tanner story.
A Tanner story.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's educational.
Yeah, I like
You're going to learn about it as you go. If you couldn't live in Canada anymore, where would you live?
Apparently, we live in Canada, everybody.
Well, I mean, you said Calgary and Edmonton already, so.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, what is it?
So I don't think it's going to be that big of a secret. If you couldn't live in Canada anymore, where would you live?
We would probably live in... I'd probably live in Vegas.
Okay.
Or, and I've said these before, it'd be, Vegas, New Orleans, or Anaheim.
Oh.
Yeah, those are my three. But then again, if I could live in Toronto, because I could go to every baseball game.
Every single one, yeah. Well, every single home game, at least.
I might live in Toronto.
No, you can't live in Canada.
Oh, I can't live in Canada. Okay. Yeah, then it would be Las Vegas.
Okay. The Jays don't go to Vegas, do they?
They will in 2027. So you know where the Tropicana is?
Yep.
They're demolishing that casino right there, and they're building a baseball stadium right there.
Oh.
And so then the Oakland Athletics are moving.
They are moving to Vegas.
They're moving to Vegas.
Well, there you go.
So I'll be going down to Vegas whenever the Jays are in town.
Okay, so that does work.
Yeah.
I appreciate you answering my questions.
Is that it?
I think I have one more.
Oh.
What old boomer trend do you still do religiously?
Old boomer trend.
I mean, you're a Gen Xer, so you're kind of that weird in between group.
Yeah.
What kind of trend from the boomers do you still kind of still do?
Give me an example of what this would be.
Well, anything the old people do. Like I when I look at you,
Yeah.
and just your appearance,
Yeah.
I get the physical feeling that you yell at your family about the thermostat.
I yell at my family about the lights being left on.
Okay, or the lights. There you go.
It's the lights that are left on.
Even though they're a
drives
fraction
me
of the cost
nuts.
and they don't.
And you know what? I really fucking hate.
Yeah.
In my family,
give it to me. Yeah.
is we'll do laundry,
Okay.
and those bounce sheets
Yeah.
will just show up around my house, and I hate them so much. Okay, and you know what my son does? You know what he did last year? This is a true story. My son last year kept a year's worth of these bounce sheets. A year's worth. He had them stuffed in his room.
Okay.
And then on April's Fool's Day, he put them all in my bed. After I got home from a night shift, I came into a bunch of bounce sheets. Think about this, 1 year's worth of laundry sheets. Bounce sheets.
That's at least 52. You're going to do more than one a week?
Oh, yeah. No, like everyone he could get his hand on for a year. He kept them.
He is a lab accident away from becoming a supervillain.
Oh yeah, he's already
rolling that.
He's a prank genius.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
You're
bounce sheets. Gotta hate those things.
I mean, you talked about a lot of things you've hated today, but I watched you physically become upset about the bounce sheets. Like I watched you. Your entire body just morph into hatred.
Oh, I hate
that
those
one
things.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's if that's a boomer thing. That's my thing. I hate those things.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
Hate them.
We kind of come to the point of what we talk about here at the end is life can be shitty, and things we do as human beings can be shitty. Having to work your whole life sucks. You know, sometimes people are assholes to each other. Doesn't matter. No, but sometimes they are. So, Corbyn, you got to still live your life. You got to be a human being. So how does Corbyn deal with the shit? How does Corbyn cope with just the shit pile that gets handed to you on a shovel?
Okay, so I've had a good bout over the last 10 years with depression. And so what you do, you never really heal from depression. It's just kind of always there. But what I've learned over the years is self-awareness. And so I'm very self-aware when something's eating at me or something's like all the stuff I talked about today is kind of like, superficial, whatever.
Yeah.
But like when something's really eating at me.
Like when you can't wear the acid wash jeans.
When I can't wear the acid wash jeans.
Because the wife won't let you. Yeah.
Because my wife won't let me.
But you need it to masturbate.
Yeah, but you need them.
Yeah, right.
I need isolation. I need time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm like that, I can't really focus on any one thing. So I'd like to say I play a video game or I watch a movie. I can't really do that. So the only thing that really soothes me and sounds so stupid is I watch hours and hours and hours of short YouTube videos.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll watch YouTube short
I
clip
watch
things?
Not clip, well sometimes. I watch more YouTube than a healthy adult male should watch.
Okay.
I watch any and all and so I don't know. Have you ever had a bout with depression or anything like that, Tanner?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so one thing that I found with depression is that I will hop from thing to thing. But when I'm on a thing, I'll be obsessive about that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll be easy to move after I'm obsessed for a while. So I will figure out a topic. I will hammer out every YouTube video I can find about that topic. And then I'll move to a different topic or whatever, and I'll hammer out everything I have to that.
Give me an example of the last topic you dived into this much.
Okay, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the last topic I was looking into was wasps' nests. Okay. So
Okay.
no, it's really cool.
Yeah, I believe you
so
are. Sure,
it was
yeah.
this guy who has his own YouTube channel,
Dr. Nest.
and he goes into houses or into soffits. Like he'll find, like he gets called to the house, and then he'll find these very elaborate wasp nests, and
Okay.
then he shows you the process of cleaning the wasp nest out and disposing of it. And the work that these fucking wasps put in is insanity. It's insanity. They put so much work into making these nests, and it's all chewed up pieces of wood that it's basically turned into paper.
Okay.
They're basically making papyrus.
Yeah.
And making these elaborate tunnels in house soffits and stuff like that, and not so much under, like it's not like what we get, like where you got like a small one under your deck. No, we're talking about gigantic
Walls of
5 bags, garbage bags full of wasp nest. So I watched that. The other one I watched, there's this guy. he's a lobster fisherman. Okay. And so he catches lobsters. He explains to you, because he's the main lobster fisherman, and he explains to you how they preserve the fishery over time, and that's by if they catch a lobster that has eggs on it, they'll have a tail punch and it's on the 4 fins, and you tail punch the second one from the right. Okay, with this punch, and that means they're protected. So even if they don't have eggs, you get it, and they got a notch.
Throw 'em back.
You throw them back. It protects the fishery, right? But sometimes he catches some lobsters that have been sitting on the ground so long that they've got barnacles. Have you ever seen barnacles, like for
barnacle
real?
lobsters.
You got to check this
Sons
out.
of
I swear to God,
bitches.
it's one of the most fascinating things ever. And so he'll get these lobsters that are covered in barnacles, and so the barnacle will grow, and then it'll shed, and it'll grow bigger, and shed and grow bigger, and whatever. But the longer the lobster stays, the more barnacles that can attach to it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the more barnacles it gets, it'll spread and make more barnacles, and then they'll get bigger, and then they'll start blocking knuckles and start blocking joints and start blocking eyes, and they can't move, and then the more they can't move, more barnacles get on them. So what this guy does is he takes them, and then he takes pliers and squashes the barnacles and he gets rid of the barnacles, and it's like a squish. And if you look closely at the barnacles, it's got a hole in the top, and this thing comes out like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks like a little alien that comes out. But that's actually its penis.
Oh.
And that's how it impregnates other barnacles
Just
to make more
it's
barnacles.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Just a weed into the wind.
Guy, I'm telling you, watch some of these lobster barnacle videos.
God.
And most of them
Well,
are
now
just
I'm
shorts.
scared that if I watch that, that's the only thing I'm going to be able to watch to get me going.
It's so cool.
Because now I need barnacle penises.
I'm telling you, 2 of the coolest things. Actually, what else did I watch recently? Hold on. No, that's it.
Okay.
Those are the 2 recent ones.
So you focus on a thing.
Yeah.
You deep dive.
Deep dive.
Where does that take you?
What do you mean?
So when you're in that depressive state and you're kind of rolling into that coping mechanism of focusing on the one thing.
Yeah.
Are we talking like for an evening? Is this something that you need to focus on for a week or more?
Until it's time. There's no rhyme or reason to it until I'm ready to go. Usually a day's good, but because I'm like I said, I'm pretty self-aware, and I'm pretty good at coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And so that's one of them. I generally don't like drink when I'm feeling down, and I've never had suicidal thoughts. I'm not that kind of depression guy.
Yeah.
Like I love myself way too much.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like that. But it's not sadness. It's just man, I'm having a day.
Yeah.
And
Stephen Fry said it. Comedian Stephen Fry. He said having depression is acknowledging that it might be shit weather, raining, snow that day, and it's not snowing because of you. It just is. Mm-hmm. It's not going to stop because of you. It just will stop when it stops.
Yeah.
And you're just going to get snowed on that day.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
You have no control over when it starts or stops raining or snowing. You're just realizing that it's not because of you, and sometimes you need an umbrella.
Yeah. But I will tell you something that it's given me the gift of, and that is, here's a plug, radical apathy. Mm-hmm. I have the gift, and I think you do too, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't.
Correct.
I have the gift of not giving a fuck about most things in my life. Like, and that is, it's a power that it can't be taken away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about most things. I care about my kids.
Yeah.
I care about my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I care about the friends who care about me.
Yeah.
And outside of that,
it doesn't matter.
Don't care after that.
Outside of that, none of it really matters.
Nothing really matters.
It's okay. It's okay to be, get upset about the fact that Jared Leto looks like a fucking meth head.
Yeah. I care about
man's Joker,
and I care about me.
Right.
Okay. So the reason why I get mad at Jared Leto fucking doing is because you're wasting my time now, Jared. Okay. You're wasting my time.
You're stepping up to me now, Jared.
So
I'm gonna have to call Jared and get him on the. Have him come to the.
I don't want to talk to him.
Never mind, Jared. You're out. Sorry, bud.
You're out, pal.
Well, I appreciate you letting me really dig deep into the soul. I felt we got there. I felt like I entered you, and I found the deep inside of Corbyn.
You look at these tears.
I swam around in it. I think we're all a little better off for that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And this is it, guys. We're going to have a friend.
Homework.
Couple guests come, and then this is what the show is. We're gonna kind of turn our both of our attentions next now to the next show to the guest. Do we know who it's going to be?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we're gonna say.
I don't think
we'll surprise it. We'll make it.
Yeah, we'll surprise it.
And we're going to turn our attention to them and see what kind of learn.
We're going to
fun
ask
things
the
about
same
them.
kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna solve all these problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, with what we can. Again, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to hear more, we are on most of all of the providers of sound and music and podcasts and all the exciting things. Either like or button, happy face thing, whatever it is on the one you're listening to. Let us know that you like it, and we'll keep doing it because we're here and we like to do it.
Yep.
Homework.
What are we doing for homework? I'm excited to hear this.
Okay. Well, you're not going to
realistic homework.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're not going to like it. What I need out of you,
okay,
is I need you to go watch a game of D&D.
Okay.
I need you to watch a game of Dungeons and Dragons.
How long is that going to take? Jesus.
It can take anywhere from an hour to 4.
1 hour to 4 hours.
Depending on what you pick. I'll give you options. I'll throw a couple ones you can choose from. But more so, I need you foundationally aware going forward. So I'll throw some options at you. But watch a streamed Dungeons and Dragons game.
Can I meet you halfway? Can you find me, like, you've probably watched videos on this.
I have, yeah.
So why don't you find me, like, the most entertaining one?
Yeah, I'll send you.
Send me the link.
I'll send you a few
and
options.
I'll watch that one.
I'll send you a few options. You can kind of, we'll feel out what you are more.
I have a fun, this is part of my thing. You want to deep dive? I have a fundamental rule in my life. And it's that, and I'm making an exception for you.
Oh, look at us.
I don't watch videos that other people want me to watch. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, when you get your friend, they're like, "Oh, you got to check this video out." Yeah, send it to me.
Yeah,
and I'll never watch it. I don't want to see. No one ever
does.
And the reason why is I'm so protective of my YouTube space that a couple reasons. One, I want to be in control of everything I see.
You don't want to wreck the algorithm.
I don't want to wreck the algorithm because I don't want them, recommending shit now that I don't want to see. And I don't want to give them the satisfaction of I feel like it's one-upmanship. Like, they found this video. They go, I don't want to watch your videos.
Yeah, it could just be sharing because they want to show their friend.
I'm asking you to send me this video. Okay. So that's different.
Well, I feel better.
Yeah.
That's good you said, because I have friends that I will actively send them My Little Pony videos to wreck their algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's funny.
Because we had we did, like I said last episode, we did this musical with there was 5 of us in it.
Yeah.
And the other male lead would always take me aside and show me these videos, and I just like he doesn't know this, but I'm just like, oh, I can't watch this.
Okay, we're gonna get into that when he's on the show.
When he's here, stop showing me videos.
Maybe we can fix him. Maybe we can fix his nonsense.
Well, it's not him that needs to be fixed. I need to be fixed.
Well, we can fix other people. We can't fix ourselves. We can fix other people.
I guess.
But that's going to be your homework going forward.
All right, one D&D video.
And we will come back when that's done for our next show. We'll have a guest with us, and we'll pick it up for our episode 3. Thank you all again for joining us. It means a lot to have you guys all here.
Yeah. I'm having a great time.
Yeah. We will kill it here. So we'll see you guys all next time. Take care. Have fun.
Radical apathy.
Be safe. Radical apathy is the name.